pause?
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right, let's go through. All right. So we're still on this one. What about these three? Which one? Did anyone use any of these three for theirs? Free. Yeah, that one does work way better. Like animals with stripes and spots, like with the cheetah with its many spots, it's able to like hide in the grass a bit better, especially when it's moving, because the pattern helps it disguise itself. That one's really good. Hassan?
Many insects use a disguise or custom to help them hide.
Yeah, that one also works, like with the stick bug on the branch. That was it disguising itself because it looks a lot like it, and when it's just standing there perfectly still, and you're looking at it from a distance, you can't really tell if it's like, you think it's just part of the tree, you think it's part of the branch, but if you move in a bit closer and you can see it twitching a bit, you'll be like, wait a minute, I think it's alive. So yeah, these two would work, but let's check out this one just in case. Coral snakes use poisonous liquid called venom when they bite. That has absolutely nothing to do with camouflage. It's a cool fact about coral snakes, but that has nothing to do with how it can hide from anything. So if you're going to, yeah, all right. So for this one, the question that was best suited was this one, the first one. What are some ways that certain living things can use camouflage? And the best ways that like they did use camouflage was insects using disguising themselves, and some animals with stripes and spots that can like blend in with their surroundings. All right, now we can go. All right. And now you guys remember, this is where you're gonna put your essay. Remember, it has to be 5 paragraphs. What are those 5 paragraphs gonna be? What's the first paragraph called?
Introduction.
Introduction, and what are the next 3 called?
Details?
Yes, supporting. Those are gonna be your supporting details, or like your body.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the last one called?
Construction.
Construction.
Conclusion.
Conclusion. There we go. Construction, like that's when you're building something. I guess you could call it a body the construction because you're working on it then. But yeah, the last one's gonna be your conclusion. So what you're gonna write about? Write a story in which you find an animal hiding in nature. Describe the animal and how you find it. Be sure to use information from the article to help your supporting details. So basically, you're gonna think of an animal. It can be one from the passage, or if you think you know of an animal that uses camouflage in one of the ways we talked about, like with disguise, with patterns, with colors, you can use those to basically support your answer. I'll give you an example that wasn't in the text. Let's think about like a crab. Let me show you guys how a crab would camouflage themselves. You know how like they just walk around the beach, always moving sideways because they can't move forward? The way that they camouflage is that they stay super close to the shore, and when they're walking around, the wave comes all the way over them, and that puts them like a bit under the sand. So only like their heads are really sticking out, and so when birds fly over, they think they're rocks, so they're not gonna eat them. So like a bird will land, it'll think it's a rock, and then it'll just fly away, and then the crab comes out, and it just walks away. All right, so who wants to give an example of an animal that they think?
And bunny, because when it snows, the snow's going to be white, and a bunny can turn white when it snows, and when its predator tries to get the bunny, he runs after him, but when he looks down in the snow, he can't find the bunny.
Yeah, that's very good. Like the Arctic fox, like the fur is going to change in the winter. All right, we'll give one more example from some. All right, one more example, and then we'll continue. Okay.
Is it an octopus or a squid that changes color?
Octopuses can change colors. Yeah, octopuses can change colors. That's very good. Underwater, they can change colors to like match their background or whatever they're attached to. Again, you could use any example from the text. You could use an animal that you know, but it has to hit the points that we talked about. So you got to have your main idea, your supporting details, and make sure to hit all of these points, okay? Because this is the thing these are the things that are most important when it comes to the milestone, okay? So on the next slide, that's where you're gonna put it all, okay?